Jesus, man, 7 fucking messages. Jesus, serious. This fucking looks blurry. What the fuck? Man, I got sunburned like a motherfucker today, man. Let me tell you, cool. I'm gonna watch the video on MK677. Dude, this shit is blurry as fuck. Hold on, I gotta go do that alcohol shit again, cuz. Tripping. Fuck wants to get so dirty for, dude? Okay, so what? Cheese and rice was this?
677. Despite being often lumped in with selective androgen receptor modulators or SARMs, MK is a completely different beast. MK677 is a non-peptide, orally acting growth hormone secretagogue. So let's break all those sciencey words down. Non-peptide means it's a small molecule drug, not a fragile chain of amino acids like injectable peptides, like somorelin or ipamorelin. This is why you can get away with it as a pill. Orally acting means what it sounds like. It can survive the digestive system and, importantly, the first-pass metabolism in the liver, which is a huge advantage. And growth hormone secretagogue is the main event here. MK677 tells your pituitary gland to secrete more growth hormone by working through the ghrelin receptor. But how does this exactly happen? And this is what makes MK so unique. MK mimics this hormone ghrelin. Ghrelin is known as the hunger hormone because it stimulates your appetite, but it also plays a crucial role in signaling the release of growth hormone. So after being absorbed into serum, MK677 binds to the ghrelin receptors in the brain, specifically the hypothalamus, not to be confused with the hyperthalamus that made me dependent on Adderall throughout college and med school. This tricks your body into thinking it's received a massive ghrelin signal, which prompts a strong pulsatile release of your own natural growth hormone. This in turn leads to a significant and sustained increase in IGF-1, which is the primary driver of the anabolic muscle-building effects of GH. Think of it like this. Your pituitary gland is a candy machine full of growth hormone. Normally, ghrelin is your mom, who gives you a single quarter to get a handful of candy each day. MK677, on the other hand, is like your uncle, who gives you multiple quarters for all the candy you can carry. It might seem like an easy choice, but we all know the second option has to have some strings attached to it, and there's a non-zero chance of some of those strings being down in your uncle's basement. Back to MK677. Now, this compound didn't just spring out of a UGL basement. MK677 was first developed by Merck & Company in the 1990s. Its original purpose was to treat conditions like muscle wasting, osteoporosis, and growth hormone deficiency in the elderly. But Dr. Alex, you say, recombinant growth hormone has been available since the mid-80s. Why wouldn't they just give these patients growth hormone? Well, this is where the story gets interesting. The 1980s and 90s were a time of intense anti-steroid sentiment, mostly because nobody in Congress could bench 2 plates, I think. This culminated in the Crime Control Act of 1990, which not only scheduled anabolic steroids, but also specifically amended the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act to slap on massive penalties for the distribution of human growth hormone itself for any reason other than treating a recognized disease. That potentially included even the off-label use of growth hormone for things like wellness or anti-aging. So the perceived value of a growth hormone replacement, especially one that avoided the negative connotation associated with needles, was exceedingly high. So Merck went all in on MK677, and the early research was promising. Studies showed it could effectively increase lean body mass and bone density without the need for daily GH injections. Unfortunately, it also showed a tendency for fluid retention, which isn't that great for the elderly or the frail. And by frail, I mean you, and by elderly, I mean your mom. Critically, one key study in elderly patients with hip fractures had to be halted because the group receiving MK677 showed an increased incidence of congestive heart failure, which unfortunately makes sense due to the significant water retention that it can cause. So despite its potential, Merck eventually discontinued the development of MK677. After lying dormant for years,
Welcome to Conga Composer.
The rights to the compound were eventually transferred by virtue of a corporate merger to a company called Lumos Pharma, which is now studying MK under the name LUM-201 for rare pediatric growth disorders. But in the shadows, the formula was out and the research chemical market was born. So why is everyone so hyped about MK? Because on paper, the benefits are impressive. The first is increased muscle mass. By boosting GH and IGF-1, MK677 highly anabolic environment. Studies, even the early ones, consistently showed a significant increase in lean body mass and increases of IGF-1 that are consistent with about 2, maybe even 3 IUs of growth hormone a day. 2 is improved sleep quality. This is one of the most reported and beloved effects. Users often experience incredibly deep and restful sleep with more vivid dreams. This is because it can increase REM sleep. Better sleep equals better recovery and more growth. 3 is enhanced recovery and healing. IGF-1 is critical for repairing tissue, including muscle, bone, and ligament. This makes it attractive for athletes looking to bounce back faster from intense training or injuries. 4 is increased bone density, and the original research backs this up. Its potential for long-term benefit for skeletal health is significant. 5 is potential nootropic and anti-aging effects. Some users report better skin quality or glow because it can improve sleep and IGF-1 levels, which normally decline with age. And as a result, it's often marketed as an anti-aging compound. But now is where we have to have a serious talk about side effects. Nothing in life is free, especially not with a 24-hour boost in growth hormone. The first side, or potential feature, depending how you look at it, is an insane increase in hunger. Remember, this mimics ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. This isn't just, well, I could eat. This is a ravenous, bottomless pit level of hunger, which makes it very hard to control your diet. This makes it perfect for self-proclaimed hard gainers trying to bulk, but literal hell for anyone bothering to count calories. The next issue is significant water retention. This is a big one and what originally caused Merck to stop clinical development. The increase in GH can lead to holding a lot of water. This can cause bloating, swelling in the hands and feet, known as edema, and a very significant puffy look that masks muscle definition. It also explains the heart failure issue mentioned in the Merck study. You're putting significantly more strain on your cardiovascular system. The third issue is insulin resistance. This is probably the most dangerous side effect besides the increased body water. GH and IGF-1 can decrease your body's sensitivity to insulin. Over time, this can lead to elevated blood sugar levels and potentially increase your risk of developing type 2 diabetes. Have I seen a case of diabetes stemming from MK use? No, not yet, but this is not something to take lightly. The fourth issue is lethargy and fatigue. While it may improve sleep at night, some users paradoxically report feeling tired and lethargic during the day, especially during the first few weeks of use. The fifth issue is increased prolactin. In some individuals, MK677 can modestly increase prolactin levels to the upper end of normal. While not usually an issue at standard doses, it might be a concern for those who consider themselves sensitive. Number 6 is anxiety. There are some anecdotal reports that mention increased feeling of anxiety when taking MK. And the last issue is just unknown long-term risks. This is the elephant in the room. Because MK has never been officially FDA approved for use in healthy humans, we just don't know what the long-term risks of using it might be. Okay, we got it. Hand-wringing aside, where does MK677 fit? Its ideal application, without a doubt, is a bulking cycle. If your goal is to put on size and you're a guy or gal who struggles to eat enough calories, MK677 can be a powerful tool. The ferocious appetite suddenly becomes an advantage, and the anabolic environment from the GH and IGF-1 boost will help ensure those extra calories go toward building muscle. The water retention is less of a concern when you're not trying to be shredded. But when should you absolutely not use it? In a cutting or a fat loss phase. Trying to use MK while in a caloric deficit is like trying to swim upstream against a tsunami. The intense hunger makes sticking to your diet absolute torture, and the water retention will completely hide any fat loss progress you're making, which is psychologically devastating. You'll be bloated, hungry, and miserable. There are far, far better tools for a cutting phase. Also, if you have any history of cardiac disease whatsoever, especially with a reduced ejection fraction, you should avoid MK like the plague. Now let's talk some legalese and discuss the current regulatory status of MK in the United States. And let's be crystal clear. MK677 has not been FDA approved for human consumption. And because it's already been investigated as a drug, it cannot be legally sold as a dietary supplement. So although you used to be able to get it made by compounding pharmacies, it was added to the FDA's Do Not Compound list in 2023, basically shutting down all legal access for human consumable MK in the United States. Yet you can purchase it from various online storefronts, provided it's sold with clear labeling indicated that it's being sold for research purposes only. And no, your latest experiment to hide your feelings in your muscles does not count as research. This is a legal gray area that companies use to sell these compounds without getting shut down. Unfortunately, buying it online in this setting also means you're entering into an unregulated market. The product received could be underdosed, overdosed, or contain something else entirely. Oh, and MK is banned by the World Anti-Doping Agency, also known as WADA, and all major sporting organizations. If you are a tested athlete, taking this is cheating, so don't even think about it. And although it isn't an androgen, it's still a PED. So if you take it, good for you, but stop claiming you're natty. Literally nobody cares. So time for me to talk about my own experience with MK. I took 25 milligrams a day of ibutamoren as a prescription for about 12 weeks back before it was placed on the Do Not Compound list in 2022, I think. I'm getting old and my memory sucks. And it was pretty wild. As someone who used to be able to turn invisible just by standing sideways, MK finally gave me the appetite I needed to consume enough calories to put on some size. but I was also on other compounds at the time, so it's difficult to say how much of my gains were due to MK. And I had major water retention that negatively affected my cardiovascular health in noticeable ways. I will never forget how me and my wife took a brief vacation to Boulder near the end of my bulk and went to go hike the Flatirons. There are a couple mountains that are famous to Boulder. I had hiked this trail dozens of times without even losing my breath, but for the first time, I could barely even make it out of the parking lot, much less up and down the trail. Oh, and my A1C went all the way up to 5.7, which is technically the pre-diabetic range. Now, it came back down after I quit, but that's still not a good thing. Now, you can make the argument to pair MK with something like metformin, and in retrospect, I probably should have, but hey, I spent enough time meditating on my porcelain throne as is. So yeah, there were definitely some ups and downs with my experience with MK. This isn't creatine. So what's the final verdict on MK677? MK is a powerful, fascinating compound that does exactly what the science says it does. It potently stimulates your body's own production of growth hormone. This can lead to real benefits in muscle gain, sleep, and recovery. But it is not a free lunch. The side effects are significant, with water retention and decreased insulin sensitivity being the most serious risks. The water retention and intense hunger make it a very specific tool, really only suitable for a dedicated bulking phase. And even then, it requires careful management. Now, as a physician who likes keeping his license, I can't and will never recommend the use of a research chemical to anyone. But in the spirit of harm reduction, if you insist on trying it, you must be smart. Monitor your blood sugar, do your cardio, watch your blood pressure, keep the dose reasonable, with most research using anywhere from 10 to 25 milligrams a day, and cycle it. Do not use this indefinitely. So if this deep dive cleared up the mystery of MK677 for you, please hit that like button, subscribe.
Yeah, I tried that shit a couple of times, and I don't know. I saw some size sometimes. I would see it in the gym. I would like notice that my progress in the gym, the pumps would get bigger. And I'm not sure if he said something about water retention or whatnot, but maybe that's what it was, because my pumps were huge in the gym when I took MK677. But as far as keeping it, no, and it does make you hungry. It's very expensive. It's like $90 for a bottle for 60 capsules. And bro, that shit's, I mean, that's not even the expensive part, bro. The expensive part is how hungry it makes you. Like, you eat all your food within a week, and it's like supposed to be for the month. So, and then you have to eat. If not, you get into a really bad mood. So since we're on the same fucking video, fuck it, I saw something that said about some guy did Retatrutide for 30 days. Let's see what happened. So where the heck is it? Right here?
We all sell stuff every single day. Yet for some reason, we go away from one-on-one selling. We move it to the internet. We're selling online.
Okay.
Boom! What's up, everyone? Mark Lobliner, TigerFitness.com. Retatrutide is literally the future, period. I'm convinced. As you know, I was very skeptical of Ozempic, and I still am. I think Ozempic is like, okay, for example, my mother-in-law, the first year the Jeep Grand Cherokee came out, it was a lemon. It was the first year it came out, they hadn't worked out the kinks, had some engine issues, was just an absolute mess. It's still not the greatest, most reliable car, but it's gotten a lot better. The first model came out, they just weren't ready for it. Just like electric cars, like look how far Tesla has come in the past 5 years. I mean, it's driving itself. There was a Tesla the other day that was from the manufacturing plant delivered to the new owner's house by itself. It drove itself there. Retatrutide is insanely amazing. I'm convinced. I am convinced. And I got to be real. I've tried it. And I've heard so much about it. The reason I did is you got some good bros, some good bros online who are just like Paul Barnett. He actually measured his HDL, LDL, triglycerides, glucose, insulin, improvements in all of them. And I just love it for health benefits. And then I'm watching other things and I'm like, wow, this is crazy what it's doing. And then I saw a podcast, I forgot who it was, of it being used in lieu of metformin and other things for even off season, but in a smaller dose. So generally speaking, it's 1 to 4 milligrams a day, but imagine the benefits. And imagine the benefits if you took 0.25 milligrams a week. I'm sorry, 1 to 4 milligrams a week, not a day. Imagine put 0.25, 0.5. So I'm like, well, this is great. Let me try this out. So I got some from peptidepro.io. As you guys know, it's my buddy's company. I'm not an athlete. No, it's just my buddy's company. I have a coupon code Lowbliner. You save there. It's peptidepro.io. Don't buy it from there if you don't want. Don't care. He's my buddy. It's where I got mine. They're like, well, where did you get it? That's the first question. Where'd you get it? Peptidepro.io, and I have a coupon code that saves money. But again, it's not how I make my money. It's just not how I make my money. It's just where I got it. And he said, if anybody asks for it, here's a coupon code. There we go. So, and I paid for it. I did pay for it. It wasn't free. I'm not getting sponsored, not getting paid. Just want to say that for the record. So why is this so crazy? Well, GLP-1, GIP, glucagon receptors. It is a three-way monster. So if you're someone who takes metformin for longevity, you can replace that. If you're someone who takes Ozempic or any other, GLP-1, it replaces that. It's not the cheapest thing to buy. It's very expensive. And my wife, since our third kid, and, she's getting near menopause age, like we're old, she's had trouble losing weight. And like most people, she has cravings. Her cravings are gone. And she's at the point in life, she doesn't weigh herself. But, I had her on, start at 0.25. We're up to 0.5 milligrams a week. And she's lost probably 10 pounds. And this is while going to Costa Rica, enjoying life. And it's one of those things, she doesn't crave ice cream anymore, doesn't crave chocolates. Let's realize, guys, we all hold everybody this fitness standard. My wife's just a normal human being who wants to be the best her. She trains 4 days a week, works her ass off, trains really hard, trains like a dude, trains like me. But she's not vain. She doesn't have that vanity and that narcissism that us pro bodybuilders have. So, and I love her, man. I love my wife. We're the most beautiful woman in the world. But I'm like, you know what? Her HDL was a little bit low. LDL was a little bit high last time. I'm like, well, let's give it a try. I can't wait to get her blood work back. She feels great on it. There's no side effects. Here's the crazy part. I have IBS, and I'm on 0.25 a week, 0.25 milligrams, very low dose. My wife is, my wife's at 0.5. And so we're noticing, I'm sorry, where was I going? So I have IBS, as you guys know who've been watching this a long time. My wife has diverticulitis, much worse than what I have. And that's basically there's holes in, literally holes in your digestive tract, and stuff gets caught in there. It's messed up. And we were afraid of, she'll have, periodical constipation, such and such. Actually helped her, where her digestion is even better with the retatrutide, which is wild. Absolutely wild. So that's our dosing. And I truly think this is a novel ingredient, a novel compound. Right now it's available, and they're shutting down these peptide sites left and right. So I don't know how long you'll be able to get it for. I really don't. Look, man, talk to your doctor with anything you do. I'm just giving you my personal experience. I really think they're onto something special. And I'm someone who has gotten, and this is, my buddy was selling the other GLPs too. Wouldn't touch them. Wouldn't even talk about them. I'm not a huge fan. I'm just not. I think there's a lot of sides. But look, I'm telling you, man, this retatrutide is something that I'm extremely interested in. And the more I see Dr. Todd Lee is another guy who does some great videos on retatrutide. It's the future. And I've combined it with some things. I'm going to tell you what I would say. So how do you get synergies, right? Like enhanced fat burning. So how does it work? It activates GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. So that promotes satiety, which is the lack of hunger, and of course, fat oxidation. So I also combine it with my Go BHB. As you know, I take 10 to 20 grams a day, because that is an energy substrate, signals the body's use fat for fuel. And so BHB, it enhances or supports the fat burning state that retatrutide promotes. They also work together for appetite suppression. So I would also take BHB with it. I just think it enhances it. It also will help if there's any anti-anabolic or catabolic action. I really think it'll work. And they both work together synergistically for blood sugar, because BHB lowers your blood sugar demand, improves your mitochondrial efficiency. I think that's a great stack. That would be the one thing I take with it. just to ensure things, right? Like if you're losing weight, you might have some mental clarity, mood issues, brain fog. So BHB reduces that because it crosses the blood-brain barrier and improves mental clarity, focus, mood. There's so many reasons you could take them together, right? So that's the one thing I would take with it. But I'm just saying, I want to do this review, and I would love to get my wife talking about it if she wants to come on camera. But it would take a lot for me, and it was really Paul Barnett, and you guys have seen him on this channel before multiple times. He really kind of opened my eyes to the future. And of course, Dr. Todd Lee, MD, he's great too. Very good guy. And these guys who I respect greatly, and obviously Paul does a lot more than me. He's much more experimental with what he does. I'm kind of a sissy when it comes to that. I'm a TRT guy. But just for the health benefits, mitigating a lot of the effects of training, of potential steroid use, of lifestyle issues, like maybe your diet's not the best, maybe you have impulse control when it comes to eating. Maybe you drink, maybe it's something, I don't know, but these are things that if you mitigate the dosing, like I think if somebody jumps in and just does 4 milligrams off the bat, why would you do that? Start with 0.25 milligrams a week. Then if that's tolerated and you're like, I could probably use a little more, 0.5. And I'll be honest, I don't really ever see a reason to go above 1 milligram a week. And that makes it much more affordable too. So that's where I'm at with retatrutide. I think that if you microdose it, which a lot of the people in the biohacking community do, and you see people doing it with tests, this and that, I think it's fantastic. I think retatrutide is, and again, talk to your doctor. I'm not a doctor. I'm an idiot.
The doctor's going to tell you no because it's a research chemical food.
But I truly think this might be something that changes people's lives for the better. And again, I'm anti-big pharma. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. And again, like I got a lot of heat for. So here's where I'm honest. Like Ozempic, I saw huge issues, but we're not seeing that with the Reta. We're just not seeing that. But have you tried this stuff? And again, I'm trying to gain weight. I'm never trying to lose weight. So the fact that, again, at that dose, I feel, and again, we need more data. At a micro dose, I can't wait to get my blood work done. I usually get it done every October. It's usually when I get it done. For sure, I'll do some intermittent ones in between. But the next time I'm taking my blood work is October, and I cannot wait to see my labs. And I've never felt better. Like, I've never felt as good as I felt before. And that was before the Reta. I'm not saying it's because of that. But I just feel amazing. I think it's
cool. So, where we at? We're like 30 minutes, 22, 27. You saw that? Damn. Anyways, cool. So, this is what I want to try out. I want to try retatrutide. While I'm on the cycle that I'm on now, I'm doing low doses because I don't want to deal with the side effects. It drives me crazy. So it's already affecting my skin with my the hormone imbalance and stuff like that. So I got to get my blood work. I pause it in this guy's eye. Looks like, I gotta find my half a joint. I'm gonna come back and make another video on something that that's interesting. What time is it? 11 o'clock? I've been up since 6 and I'm not even tired. That's that hustle brain, bro. Sleep, man. I need that money.